Hey guys, Stucky here. If you ever wanted to try the best version of the Action Network app, well, now is the perfect opportunity to do so because we have a special offer to celebrate the month of March and the NCAA tournament. You can get pro access for just $9.99 for the first month. That will give you access to things like Sean Kerner's player prop projections, which are invaluable, real-time money percentages, and our model's biggest edges, and much more. All you have to do is head over to actionnetwork.com/madness. That's actionnetwork.com/madness and get there before the deal expires. Cheers. One final league to get to, and then we're going to go to the wacky WAC. This is a fascinating league because the conference seedings are, so the teams that, the way that it works is the teams that make it are based on the standings. But the way that they seed them is based on their resume seeding system. So if Seattle had won at Tarleton, Seattle would have been the 3 seed, even though they got swept by Arlington, and Arlington would have fell to the 4 and finished a game behind them, which is pretty wild. But 8 make it. Wednesday to Saturday tournament. This benefits the top seeds again, just like the Big West, the WAC out west. Top 2 seeds get double buys at the semis. That's Grand Canyon and Tarleton. 3 and 4 seeds, Seattle and UT Arlington, buys to the quarters. First round games, Utah Valley, Cal Baptist, and Stephen F. Austin, Abilene Christian. No odds out here yet. What really, some housekeeping here. One side of the bracket, the bottom half of the bracket is all Texas schools.
Hey, right.
And the top half of the bracket is all the non-Texas schools.
Yeah, crazy.
Which is bizarre. This is a defensive league. Run by defenses. 5 of the 8 teams are top 100-ish, just the defenses. Every team is rated higher in adjusted defensive efficiency than offensive efficiency, except Tarleton, which is like even at around 150.
Yeah.
The good offense is Grand Canyon. They're the 1 seed. They'll be the favorite here. They have the best offense. Pick and roll, ISO heavy with Foster and Harrison. McLaughlin can shoot. They're the best team by far. Grant Foster's a beast. They take away the 3 on D. Either they're switching a lot, dropping. They do allow a ton at the rim, but they're elite defending there. I think that they should be about even money when odds come out to win this. Maybe minus 110, minus 1. That's like what fair is. I don't know. They might be like minus 150.
Yeah.
Is probably what I think they will be, but I make them around like minus 110-ish. They're the best team. Let's start in the top half. The intriguing team to me is Seattle, which is the 4 seed. Now, they will be, let's see what I make them, because there's no odds out now. I need like at least 10 to 1. Would want more than 10 to 1 on Seattle. I don't think we'll get it, but probably be like 8 to 1. The reason I like Seattle is, I mean, they skidded down the stretch, but they match up well with Grand Canyon. Why? Because they can defend at the rim. They have, Shoemaker who can defend Harrison. He always just frustrates him. They defend well in isolation, which Grand Canyon runs a lot of. They defend well pick and roll. Grand Canyon runs a lot of. And if you look, all their meetings the last couple of years, they play them very tough. This year, they beat them at home, won, and then went to overtime at Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
Which is not easy to do. They do have turnover issues on offense. It's a jump shooting team led by Cam Tyson. They were a bit unlucky. They were 4-7 in games decided by 5 points or less in league play, 0-3 in overtime. They also lost both games that Tyson missed. But just a very good defense. They have a ton of good individual defenders. You have Chatfield, the 6'10" anchor in the middle. But if their jump shots are actually falling, and Tyson can take over a game, they match up well with Grand Canyon. If you can give me like 10 to 1 or better, Seattle intrigues me. I think they underachieved, especially down the stretch.
Yeah, there's lots of like they're well coached, number one. They really compete in the non-con too. They almost beat VCU on the road. They almost beat San Francisco on the road. They lost to Washington in overtime. They beat La Tech. They beat UC San Diego, who we just kind of talked about in the in the Big West. They're a really, really good team. Top four, both ends in the WAC, offense and defense, balanced. And like you said, Cameron Tyson, he's a guy that can take over in a tournament setting. You always kind of want a guard that can create his own offense, be sort of a game breaker in late game situations. And they definitely have that with Tyson. So Seattle's not a bad choice if you want to, take a team other than Grand Canyon in this league.
Yep. Seattle will face the winner of Utah Valley, Cal Baptist. Try to inform you guys a little bit about all of these teams to help you handicap the games. Utah Valley defense playing at an incredible level. One of the crazy things about this tournament that makes it so intriguing is if you look at that split filter I talked about on Torvik since February 1st, and it shows which teams have improved the most, or vice versa. 3 of the top 5 teams in the country are in the WAC: Tarleton, Utah Valley, and Arlington. Utah Valley has significantly improved. Their offense is still ugly. They can't shoot, but they don't turn it over. But still, they have trouble putting just the ball in the net, which is problematic. But they won 7 of 8 to close the year. They were 354th in minutes continuity. So it took them, I think it took them a while, but their defense is playing really well. They'll start out with Cal Baptist. Cal Baptist snails, complete snail. Super, super slow. They're rebounders. That's what Cal Baptist does, and they need to get to the line. They go, everything's at the rim with them. 29th in near proximity attempt rate, 359th in near proximity percentage. So they try to get to the rim and they just can't make anything. They lost 8 of 9 to close the year, which coincided with their point guard, Dominic Daniels, being out.
Yep.
He's questionable every game. It's hard to get info on Cal Baptist. It's not like there's beat writers knocking down the doors to cover Cal Baptist basketball. But if he returns, I don't know if he will or how much you can give them the first game back, but he's important to them. Obviously, we've seen that. Any thoughts on Utah Valley or Cal Baptist?
Utah Valley wins. I don't think they're much of a. I don't think Cal Baptist is much of a threat to Utah Valley. They take away the 3 above all else, and Utah Valley doesn't care. That's just fine with Utah Valley. And I think the defense that you've seen down the stretch from them is for real. And 7-1, obviously straight up since February 8th is pretty darn good. I think Todd Phillips, a good coach, took over for Mark Madsen. He was on his staff previously. I do think they are categorically better than Cal Baptist. Now, I don't expect them to beat Seattle, but I do like them in the first round matchup.
Yeah, Utah Valley, they did split with Seattle. They lost by 1 at Seattle.
Yeah, played them close for sure. Yeah.
Seattle just finds itself in close games all the time. I would agree there. I just don't think that Utah Valley, they shoot 28% from 3.
It's a problem. Yeah.
I don't think that they have the offensive upside. And by the way, Daniels, he is, I just don't think if he does play, he does give Cal Baptist, he's their best offensive player by far.
Yep.
By far. So it would be a little tougher of an ask, but I don't think either of those teams can win this thing, right?
No.
Okay. So not even worth considering a long shot there. I think Seattle's, and I don't see it. You don't see any value. Do you see any value in Grand Canyon if they were, let's say, minus 150?
I don't think it's worth taking at that price. No, they are by far the best team in this league, though. Top 3 of the top 5 players. And remember, Jovan Blackshear comes off the bench right now, and he was their best player for like 3 years. It's crazy how good this team is.
Yeah, but the one team that probably matches up best with them is Seattle, and that's the 4 they got.
And the bottom half of the bracket is an absolute nightmare. So avoiding that is key.
Yeah. All right, bottom half. Let's go to the bottom half. Tarleton State. They've really turned on our interim coach, Joseph Jones. They've won 11 of 12. there's a reason for their improvement. They have like a JUCO backcourt, Musa and Barnes. They've been playing much better. One of the two missed a bunch of games or wasn't eligible in the season too. They don't beat themselves. They don't turn it over. Ja'Cory Smith's a beast, but they were really lucky during the year. I mean, they got to be. Let me see, Ken Palm. Are they number one? They have to be number one in luck ranking.
They're number one.
Yeah, got to be. They went 10-2 in games decided by 5 points or less in league play. 6 one-possession wins. I think they even had like a crazy buzzer beater against UTRGV.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love their offense. They had like they were benefiting from extreme shooting luck for a while, shooting variance for a while. I would imagine Tarleton, if I had to guess the price on them, they'll probably be like 5-1. I guess. No, I have no interest in Tarleton.
Absolutely zero. The players love the interim coach, Jones. It's interesting, though, after Billy Gillespie was announced with an extension, conspiracy theory me thinks that might have affected the locker room a bit. They lost to Utah Valley right after that, played a close game with Seattle right after that. I think that is maybe just a bit of an issue in the back of their minds. Maybe not. They're ineligible for the tournament. It's maybe if you're one of those type of people that think this is their everything, the Super Bowl, winning the WAC tournament, that's a point in their favor. But I don't think their defense is good enough to win the conference tournament. And I'm scared of UT Arlington. I'm scared of Stephen F. Austin. That's a really tough half of the bracket.
Yeah, we'll get to those teams it's worth mentioning that if the chalk holds, if Tarleton wins, Grand Canyon goes to the dance no matter what.
Yep.
Doesn't matter if Seattle beats Grand Canyon. It goes to the highest seed. Different tournaments do it different. I think in like the NEC, then it would have been the loser of the conference championship game. If who wasn't eligible in the NEC?
It was Merrimack.
Lemoyne got there.
Oh, this year? Yeah. Because Merrimack beat FDU last year, but they also won the league, I think. So it was kind of either way.
Yeah. So that is worth noting for the championship game that if Tarleton's there, the team they play is already in.
Mm-hmm.
They'll still be incentivized to win a conference tournament, but like it's worth noting. But in the bottom half, you have Tarleton is the 2 seed. We each have no interest in them. Some other interesting teams. The 3 seed is UT Arlington, one of the most improved teams in the country. They finished 9-2, 80th in adjusted overall efficiency since February 1st. For comparison, Grand Canyon 65th. So they were playing not too far behind Grand Canyon's level. 11-2 over the last 13. Their 2 losses were by a combined 3 points. They also went up to Seattle and beat the shit out of Seattle during that stretch. It has Russell because their point guard play was problematic early in the year. The CMO transfer has been huge. He missed the first 9 games. He missed 2 others in league play. He made all the difference in the world. For what it's worth, they want to run. They play fast. They do have turnover issues, so they theoretically could really struggle with the winner of Stephen F. Austin, Abilene Christian, which we'll get to in a second. But do you have any thoughts on Arlington and why they've improved so much?
Yeah, well, Russell is a big reason why. He's a stud. They do have a top 3 offense and defense in the conference. And I like them in a tournament setting because they shoot the 3 so well. They're the number 1 3-point shooting team in the conference, both rate and percentage this season. And I think that's obviously huge in a conference tournament setting. And I trust their guards. I know they do have turnover issues. They do start, a freshman ball handler in Williams. But I think Russell really helps that and kind of stabilizes things in the backcourt. So I would expect the ball in his hands a little bit more during the end of games. So I do like Arlington, but I might like SFA a little bit more.
Yeah, Williams and, earlier in the year, Douglas, they were just turn, and Williams still does. I mean, Williams turns it over way too much. So getting Russell to run things in that backcourt, which was just really bad without him, has been huge. Aaron Cash also much healthier now, which has been big. But if you look, they're the 3 seed, and for what it's worth, they did lose. They got swept by Tarleton, but guess what? They lost both games by 2, like Tarleton did all year. If Arlington gets the Tarleton, I'm playing Arlington.
Me too. Yep.
I'll tell you that. But Arlington would first have to get by the winner of Stephen F. Austin, Abilene Christian, and during the regular season, Arlington
split with both.
With both. But their turnover issues could be a problem because Stephen F. Austin, they are, they're the best offensive rebounding team in the league. They get to the line a ton. They're a weird team. I love looking at their profile. They have extreme turnover issues themselves. They're 357th in turnover rate, but they also force turnovers at the 7th highest rate. Deep team, deep bench. So like you got to win 4 games in 4 days. They are deep. Elite pressure defense all over the court. They want to force turnovers. Rim attacking offense. They can't shoot. Can't shoot for shit. Elite rim defense. Top 15 2-point percentage defense. 99th percentile at the rim. You can hit outside shots for them if you don't turn it over. They also did just get AJ Kajust back.
Yep, huge.
Which is worth noting. But this is a team that can turn you over, kind of just create a chaotic game. They're going to turn it over a bunch. And you do need to hit shots against them. So like Arlington can do that, but Arlington's turnover issues could creep up. Stephen F. Austin will take on Abilene Christian in the first matchup. Abilene Christian, another team that got hot here. They won 7 of 8 to close the year, including a win over Grand Canyon. They never shoot threes, ever. And they're 339th in 2-point percentage offense. I hate their offense. They're super small. They run everything through the post with Simmons, who's 6'6", Betty All, who's 6'8". But they're a heavy pressure defense, top 25 turnover rate nationally. So but Abilene Christian can't shoot, which is problematic against Stephen F. Austin, especially because they're going to turn it over a bunch. That Stephen F. Help me make sense of that Stephen F. Austin Abilene Christian game. That's a crazy game.
Yeah, going to be a ton of turnovers. I believe they split during the year. They did, yeah. But the game 1 was 51 turnovers combined. It's going to be absolutely insane.
Overtime and 1 were the margins.
Yeah, it's going to be insane. But I think Kajus being back really helps. He is their point guard, Stephen F. Austin's point guard. Been back 2 games. They smoked both teams since he came back. I just like their aggressiveness. Yeah, best offensive rebounding team in the WAC, best free throw rate in the WAC. They do allow the highest rate and percentage of threes, like you said. That's worrisome. Not against Abilene, in my opinion, but maybe going forward. But it is the 3rd worst efficiency league in the entire nation, so maybe it doesn't matter that much. And I like Kyle Keller. He's a very experienced coach in this conference tournament. So I do think they can make a bit of a run here. I'd be intrigued to see what the number is against Arlington in round 2, assuming they get past Abilene.
Yeah, I'll be tempted by Stephen F. Austin in that game as well. I feel like books, KenPom, yes, no one knows the seeds. They're out there. You just gotta there's no odds for this. KenPom doesn't even know the matchups.
Yeah. Cryptic. It's weird.
Very odd. So in that bottom half, if you had to take a flyer, so we think Tarleton's vulnerable.
Yep.
So I think that's going to create potentially some value with either Arlington or Stephen F. Austin. If I got 7-8 to 1 with Arlington,
yep,
I would take it. I would need 30 to 1 with Stephen F. Austin.
Yeah, I think either of those is worth a flyer depending on price, and I expect one of those 2 teams to come out instead of Tarleton.
Yep, I'll be looking to bet against Tarleton in the semis for sure.
Yep.
Winner, I'll say Who have I said so far? We said a lot of chalk.
Yeah.
I'll go Seattle. Seattle pulls
Okay.
off the stunner against Grand Canyon. And now, you know what? I'm going to go Arlington. I'm going Arlington. And I think there's a chance. And part of that is I think that there's a chance Seattle could beat Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon's the best team, and I hope Grand Canyon gets in.
Yeah.
Because they're the only threat. And they would be a tough out. But there's just a lot of crazy teams, and Grand Canyon got a bad potential matchup if Seattle gets there with a lot of potential. But
yeah,
I mean, yeah, Seattle. I have Seattle. Like I said, I have Seattle -110 to win this, so they should, and they're the best team by far. But I'll go a little chaos here. How about you?
I'm being born. I'm going GCU again. I'm intrigued to see what the committee does if GCU gets the championship game. They would have 28 wins. They'd be 28-5 if they lost in championship. I don't think a team with 28 wins has ever been left out. Have to correct me if I'm wrong. I think Utah State that one year got close, but it would be interesting.
JMU too.
Could happen with JMU as well. Yeah, and Grand Canyon actually beat, San Diego State and San Francisco in the non-con. They don't have a horrible resume right now. It'll be interesting.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is Grand Canyon could just have Tarleton win one game.
True.
And then that's it. They're in no matter what.
Yeah, true.